referred to by a neighbor. Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to Diana Emerson. It's night. Today, we are going to listen to a little Judge Judy. Okay, I love this girl. I love Judge Judy, and I love her granddaughter also. So, let's listen up. For anybody, or you work for yourself?
I work for myself.
And what do you do?
I'm a hostess.
It's just the two of you? Yes. And how much was the rent?
$960 a month plus electric.
Now, how somebody take a move in with somebody so quick? When did you move in? It's all of this.
September.
Every one of these. When did they move in? These people moved in after a week, 2 weeks, a month.
These agreements started 1st of February of 07.
I don't think that's right. We lived there longer than that.
Please.
I have the lease agreement.
And Eddie.
Anyone need
Eddie
to start medication, Mr. Nelson? You moved in February of 07, not in September of 07.
And my Lulu's over there.
So, first let's start with the question of utilities. According to your answer, you say she agreed to rent us the unit and we signed the lease for $960 a month, including utilities. Now you say you were supposed to pay your own utilities.
I hope I'm talking loud enough. I mean, I always do.
Did you put them in your name?
And I can hear myself, and I think at times it sounds like I'm mumbling.
Well, they were in her name up until
which
then,
I
because
do
it was part of the agreement that our utilities would be included in the $960 rent.
Not according to him.
According to this evidence in these papers, that's what it was. It was in her name for a long time.
Well, more than course, something had to be in somebody's name.
Yes, and until she turned it off without notice.
Just a second. Were you supposed to pay the utilities?
Yes.
Why didn't you put the utilities in your name starting in February?
Because that was a part of the agreement that we had.
Of course it was.
We didn't have the money at the time.
That may be an answer.
So we agreed to do it when we had the money.
Okay. Just a second. When did you have the money?
I believe in April or May.
By April, she had already turned off the utilities.
That's when we
because you didn't pay them. When did you move out?
We moved out around the beginning of June, around June 10th. June 9th was our last payment.
So you owe her rent for February, March, April, May, and June. 5 months.
No,
that is not true.
We paid her up until like the last 2 months before I moved out.
I'm telling you that's what you owe her.
Okay.
Show me that you paid 5 months rent. If you didn't give her rent for 5 months, tell me when you stopped paying her rent.
I always brought her cash. I stopped paying her rent on about end of April. I stopped paying her rent because I didn't have the money because I lost my.
All right, fine. So far, you owe $1,150 in rent, and you didn't pay the utilities for February, March, and April. I assume that they paid them in May because then they had to put them in their own name. At least you were off the hook. So how much do they owe you for utilities?
Utilities is, I got the receipts right here, $767.69.
Now, you have pictures of the damage to the apartment?
I sure do.
I'd like to take a look at it.
There's several sets of pictures. I also have a list from the repair person and the checks that I did pay a person to repair the $4,000 worth of damages.
Wow. Oh my God, were you mad? Oh my God. How did these holes get in the wall?
That was a prior roommate.
Whose roommate?
Ours. The bad selection of a roommate.
Well, you owe her for this damage.
Yes, I believe we do. We're responsible because...
You are. It's your roommate. You go find your roommate.
I'm putting in a small claim right now.
Yeah. Go ahead.
That master bedroom, I know it was their bedroom.
Oh.
Right? Those holes, it was their mattress. So, yeah, you can see her head. There, right where that is untrue. She's made a lot of allegations about us, about him doing bad things to hurt me. A lot of reason why those holes are in our walls.
When was the last time the police were called to any residence where you've ever lived for domestic violence?
No, just this once. If she called.
Just a second. When in any of your residences were the police called on a complaint of domestic violence?
None that we know of.
She just said once.
Well,
No, I
we
said-
believe that's what she called about.
Yeah.
Because they showed up, but nothing was ever done about it because nothing was wrong.
They showed up at the residence because they were looking for him.
This apartment is a pigsty.
Oh my
Don't
God.
you clean?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we had a roommate that came in while we were at work and damaged a lot of stuff.
It's filthy. That doesn't happen from a messy roommate. That happens from people who live like pigs.
I don't live like a pig, Your Honor.
Well, you did. I never saw
I had to
so
go through.
filthy.
I had to go through my house in 2 days' time, and I had to pretty much tear everything apart that I had and to find what was sentimental to me, pack it up, and then start throwing
What
a lot of
the
my
heck
things
are you
away.
talking about?
Yeah,
You should have paid your rent. That's what happens when you don't
Oh
pay
my
rent.
God.
For utilities.
we had agreed to start paying it off. We'd actually started paying it off, and
Listen, she's not your mother.
I know.
She's your landlord. The first thing that you did was you moved into the apartment. You're supposed to put the utilities in your name. You didn't. Then you have a counterclaim that she had no right to turn off the utilities because she got tired of paying $767 for your utilities. Well, then you had no choice, but you put them in your name. At least she's off the hook. I don't know whether you skipped the utility company or not. I assume you did. Now, then you leave an apartment like a pigsty and you blame it on a roommate. Well, so far it's everybody's fault but yours. Everybody else is wrong. She's wrong.
I'm taking responsibility since it was my roommate.
I didn't think it was your roommate, sir.
We've had,
I don't necessarily think it was your roommate. I don't believe necessarily it was your roommate just because you say it. Do you understand?
I understand.
I'm glad you do. This is stuff I owe $19.17
I mean,
just for
that
your
was
rent and the
frightening.
utilities.
Oh.
And that's the detailed list of what was repaired.
Oh,
Nothing was
please.
repaired, Your Honor, except for the holes in the walls, because I live right next to that place, and so does my neighbor, and she happens to walk by and she sees our things are still being used. Our refrigerator that she said was damaged that we need to pay for to replace, still being used. It was like that before we moved in.
Show them these pictures, please.
Mm.
The refrigerator was not repaired, and the refrigerator I'm suing for. And I'm just suing for the repairs Mr. Bean did on my rental unit. Your Honor, I was going through all these items. That's why it looks like a pigsty like this.
Let's just take a look at the toilet. The toilet isn't going through the items. That toilet hasn't been cleaned, it looks like, in 6 months. You owe $5,000 for you clean up the rent and for your utilities. Now, give me 30 seconds or less on your counterclaim. Let's go.
Well, we would owe her because nothing was fixed before we even moved in.
Forget it. Next.
All of our stuff that was in the house, she told us we would have 2
Okay,
days.
Judy.
Why didn't you get your stuff out?
We stayed
had
up
no-
all night trying to get our stuff out.
We had
But
2
they
days
household
time to do
stuff,
it.
so we got
Did
out
you
what
pay
we
rent
could.
in June?
I was giving her a couple hundred.
Did you pay rent in June?
Not in full, no.
Counterclaim for shit.
Whoa. Okay. I love that girl.